Welcome to Life on Maui. I'm your host, Steven Freid. Our guest for today is Joe Sugarman, who with BluBlocker sunglasses was the pioneer of the infomercial and direct marketing. And he's one of the legends on our island. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. It's very kind of you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Your company was literally the first to accept credit card orders over the phone with a toll-free number. How did that come about?
Well, you know, it was illegal at the time. You could not take an order over the phone because you had to have a customer signature. And so and somebody would say, Mr. Sugarman, I need this pocket calculator tomorrow, and if you could send it to me FedEx, and I don't have time to send the coupon in. And I said, okay, I'll sign your name and I'll send you the calculator. Well, I did that for about a year, and it was not legal. I mean, when I say legal, it was not following the rules that the credit card companies had. So I did it for about a year, and I noticed that nobody ever ripped me off. Everybody paid their bills, and I never got into any problem. So then one day I said, you know, I'm going to put credit card buyers call toll-free next to my coupon and see what kind of response. Well, it was incredible. People just were caught, and by noon we had sold enough product to break even. Well, then I tried it again, and again it worked very well, and I kept doing it for like 2, 3, 4 months. The credit card companies weren't saying anything. My competitors would call up and they'd say, Joe, how are you doing? I bet you get ripped off a lot. And I would say, oh, you wouldn't believe the rip-off rate. You know, I didn't want to tell them I was telling them the truth.
Right.
There was no rip-off rate. I mean, everybody paid their bills. And then finally the credit card companies got wind of it, and they featured us. They changed the rules, and then they featured us in the Wall Street Journal. Big ad. It was the Bell Systems, actually, that controlled the toll-free numbers at the time. And so we got a lot of publicity from that. And then a year had gone by, and then everybody started using the toll-free numbers, and catalogs started to blossom, and fulfillment houses and call centers. I mean, it created a whole industry by itself.
And Bell Systems actually changed their policy because of your company.
Because of our success. They caught wind of it, and they didn't say anything, but they saw how successful we were, and they said, boy, if other companies could use the toll-free number to sell their products, we would be selling more time with our toll-free numbers. And so they went along with that, and they thought it was a great idea. And then they publicized our company and our success to show other companies that now's the time to get into this area. So yeah, we were the first. That was 1973.
This is before computers. Were there 800 numbers at that point?
No. When I started in the business, there was, I mean, we didn't have email or internet or home shopping network or infomercials or even fax machines. Fax machines weren't even around.
Huh.
So when I started, there wasn't really any precedent. I had to kind of use common sense and come up with some ideas that I thought would work. And indeed, I was pretty lucky, and a lot of them did. A lot of them didn't. I mean, I failed a lot too.
What was an example of a failure?
Well, you know, Emerson once said that if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I'm going to build a better mousetrap. So I spent thousands of dollars designing this laser beam mousetrap. And the mouse would crawl in and smell the cheese, and the laser beam would come in, and the wire hammer device would go down. I mean, it was funny. And I advertised it as being something that could be seen on an executive's desk or in a boardroom or in any rodent-infested area. And all I had to do in some of the magazines that I advertised in was to sell maybe 1 or 2, and I'd break even. So I figured, oh, that was a no-brainer. Well, we spent about $20,000. We did not sell a single laser beam mousetrap. I still have it. I still have that one. But anyway, that was one failure. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, it's important. I mean, you try everything, and you were the first to recognize the danger of the UV on the eyes.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, You're talking about BluBlocker sunglasses.
Yes,
And,
yes, yes.
it was
Not
an
mousetrap.
Yeah, it was an interesting story because I have this philosophy that that if you look at every problem, if you look at every problem as a big opportunity, so big that it dwarfs the problem, then you get a pretty good idea of the way I look at things. For example, I had a problem. I was doing an 8-page catalog for United Airlines, and one of the pages, I had a product, and that company had gone bankrupt, and I needed a product right away to fill that in. Well, I remembered I was in Los Angeles a week earlier, and I was with a friend of mine, and he had a pair of sunglasses that he gave me, and I put them on, and I said, oh, wow, these are really good. Where'd you get these? He says, oh, these are made for NASA. A friend of mine is a manufacturer, and he's made them for NASA because when they go up in the space shuttle, there's a lot of ultraviolet light and so forth and so on. And these sunglasses not only block the ultraviolet light, but they block the blue light. And I found it very interesting, and I said, this would make a great mail order item. He says, nah, the company's going to go out of business and that is making it. And he's a friend of mine, but I wouldn't buy from him because he's not going to be around very much longer. So I didn't think much of it, but when I got back to the Chicago area where I had my office, I realized I needed a product, so I called my friend. I said, send me that pair of sunglasses. I don't care, you know, what, just send it to me. I'll figure out a way to get it made, maybe in the Far East or something. I can get it made cheaper. I've got a couple of months to do that, but I need something right now for that catalog. So he sent me the pair, and I wrote an ad within a few hours. I mean, I just knocked it out. And it ran, and it was the most successful product, not only in that catalog, but in, well, for the past couple of years. I hadn't had a successful product quite like that. And we informed the public, what was kind of neat about it, we've informed the public that ultraviolet light was not good for your eyes. Well, prior to this, nobody ever knew that. I mean, that was not very well known. And so we helped the public by informing them about the dangers of ultraviolet light, and we sold eventually 20 million pair. But the point is, and this is the important point, we had a problem, and I saw it as an opportunity, and I went for it. And if you look at every problem as possibly an opportunity that's so big that it'll dwarf the problem, you have a different outlook on life and on your business and everything.
That speaks volumes, that really does. And you have a motto regarding learning the rules and breaking the rules. What's that? How's that worked for you?
Well, if you want to be successful, you learn all of the rules and you follow them one by one. And chances are you'll be successful. But if you want to be super successful, you'll learn all of the rules and you break them one by one. And you know, the example of the toll-free number. I mean, I didn't follow the rules. It just made common sense to help these people out. And then it also made common sense, since I had never been ripped off, to actually offer that service and take my chances with the credit card companies. And it worked out just fine. So you never know. I mean, I'm not suggesting that people go out and break rules. I'm suggesting you learn the rules and you kind of figure out ways to break them that don't get you in trouble, or you know, you're going to be, you'll be okay. You're not going to get arrested or something like that.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. Another interesting thing you mentioned was that you noticed a direct correlation between presidential leadership decisions affecting sales.
Yeah, it's an interesting, it was an interesting observation. The way this worked, we would test an ad, let's say, and the ad would produce a certain amount of results, and we would know from that test, we would know exactly how many orders we were going to get over a period of several months. And that's why direct marketing is really scientific advertising, because you can measure things. You know what's working and what isn't. So yeah, so I'd test a product, and then for some unknown reason, sales would just skyrocket. It would go way beyond. Or I'd run another product, test it, and get the results, and then I'd roll out with it, and boom, the sales would plummet. And the only variable, the only thing that I observed was that the President of the United States, whenever the President made a leadership move to show leadership and action and where people really respected it, our sales just went way up. And whenever the President did something that was kind of stupid and showed lack of leadership, our sales plummeted. And I noticed that was a consistent thing. So what I got out of that was that the President of the United States holds a position that goes to the psyche of America. I mean, that we really listen to that president. We really follow that president, and we feel either good or bad based on his decisions.